Hello everyone, welcome. This is Julie from designsbyjuju.com, and in this video I'm going to quickly show you how to add a name or design or a monogram to the tummy or bandana of our adorable cute dog Softie in the Hoop project and our brand new just released Cute Cat Softie, just released yesterday or Wednesday on July 1st. It's been a long time in the making and everybody has just loved our dog, and we're happy to bring you the cat also. And what I'm going to teach you in this video today is going to be the same exact process whether you are making the dog or the cat. If you find this video helpful, be sure to check out our other tutorials here on YouTube and subscribe to our channel to be notified when new tutorials are released. We have had so many requests for a video on how to do this, so let's get to it. In this video, I am using Embrilliance Essentials Embroidery Editing Software. Embrilliance is my preferred recommendation for embroidery editing software due to its many awesome features, very intuitive user interface, fantastic support center, countless how-to videos on the web, and my favorite feature is that you can use any of our hundreds of BX fonts and monograms available on our website at www.designsbyjuju.com. I've also included my Embrilliance affiliate link below in the description of this video if you want to go and check it out. For the purposes of this video, it is necessary, if you're going to be doing it in Embrilliance, to be using the paid version of Embrilliance Essentials. You have to note that the free express version does not work to merge and customize designs. You can only type a name or a monogram and save that as a stitch file. And I'll explain to you how and where to do that as we move on here. So I have opened the 7x12 size of our cute dog Softie, and in this video I'm using the original face version, although there is another face in our updated dog that was released May 4th, 2020. The brand new cat also has two different face options as well. Now, to add a name here to the tummy of your little cutie, it's super easy in Embrilliance Essentials. I'm going to open up this first file. This is the main file of the dog, and just to show you the steps and to show you where we want to add the name. We want to insert it so that it stitches, obviously, before we add the back to the dog. Otherwise, that could be a problem, right? So over here on the right, I have, this is the final step when you're assembling the dog. When you're making it, you're going to make the ears first. It's in 5 hoopings. So you'd make the ears first, and then the bandana, then the arms, and then the legs, and then you would load your main file to put the whole thing together. So this is that main file. If you look over to the right side in the object pane here, you'll see the design, and that's considered an object, the entire design. I'm going to use this little plus here to expand it, and this shows you each step that is stitched. If I put my click on each little icon, it's highlighting which part of the design would be stitched next. So this is your stitch order. Because the face, there's 2 different face options, and each one has a couple more embroidery color stops than the other. I'm going to go quickly through the first several steps of this design and show you where I would add the name. When you are making the dog, the first step here is going to do a rectangle placement stitch for your main dog fabric. So that's going to go onto your stabilizer. The second step is going to go right over that, and that's going to tack down that fabric. The third step does like this outline of the dog or the cat, and that is just to give you a guideline so that later on when you're attaching your ears, your arms, your legs, and you're taping it all down, you want to make sure it's all taped down within this outline of the dog or cat body so that nothing gets caught. So that's what that line is there for. And this here is where I want to insert a name after this, because the next step's going to go on to the eye for the dog or whatever step it is for the cat. So these first 3 steps for the dog or the cat body in any of the options are the same. So it's right after this outline of the body that we are going to go and insert your name. So I'm going to click off of that. And I want to use one of my BX fonts, and I'm going to type out the name Charlie. So you want to go to the top of your screen and click on the letter A to activate your properties for your letters. And I'm gonna just click over here to get my text panel, and I'm going to type Charlie and then click set. So that's just a basic block font that's built in, but I want to use something else. I am going to use, let's see what I would like to use here. How about Dramastic? Let's try that. No, I don't want to use that one. I am going to use the Ainsley from DigiStitches. There we go. Now I'm just going to drag it down, and I want to show you how to use the align feature here in Embrilliance. So I'm going to just kind of drag it. First, I'm going to bring it into the middle. I apologize if you hear a dog barking. That would be my dog Credo. I'm going to hold the shift key, and I'm just going to resize it down a little bit. And I'm going to take Charlie, and I'm going to move it over here, because I want to show you how to vertically align the two designs. So right now we have two objects. I'm going to close this plus. We have the dog file is considered in Embrilliance one object, and then as you see two, Charlie. So it's kind of like they're two separate designs. And then within this object are all the different parts, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. First, I want to get Charlie where I want him, on the dog's belly. So I'm going to click on, left click just to highlight the main dog Cute Softie file, hold my control key and click Charlie. So everything is selected. You see this little question mark up here. We're going to go over to the left, two icons, and I'm going to hover over those like three blue lines, and it says align and distribute. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to center it vertically so that Charlie is directly centered vertically within the dog. So I'm going to click on center and hit apply, and there he is. And I'm going to close this. So his name is perfectly centered vertically with the dog. I think, so this is where you would place the arms, and this is where we're going to place the legs. I think I'm going to move Charlie up just a wee bit. So I want just Charlie. I'm going to use the up arrow. And that looks good to me. I also think I might actually resize him down just a little bit. This is just your preference. I don't want to resize too much to maintain the integrity of the files of the size that I used. So you should really use the closest size to, for instance, if I bring in 1 inch and I really need to bring it down way much, you'd want to use a 3/4 inch, or you really should only resize no more than 20%. So now we have the dog and Charlie. However, the dog file is including attaching the back. So we need to insert, we need to go here. We have our placement for our, goes on a stabilizer, placement for the fabric, tacks down the main dog fabric, then the outline of the dog. We want to insert Charlie after step 3. So to do that, it's fairly simple. You are just going to select Charlie, and what I'm going to do in this case, because let's see if I could drag the pane down. No, it doesn't go anymore. I want to be able to see this, and sometimes like dragging it is a pain. So the first thing I'm going to do is right click, and I'm just going to move first. So now I have Charlie up at the top. So see that again? I can move it last, and then it's underneath the dog, or I can move it first, and it's the first thing that would stitch out. I'm going to expand my dog file, and what I want to do is I want to drag down Charlie to right underneath 2.3. So I'm going to take it, and not there. I want to take the actual, all right, dragging it down. See that it says this kind of green text that you see there? I'm just going to drop it right close to, but underneath that 2.3, third step. So there we got it. So the first step is your, again, your placement line for your stabilizer, your tack down line for your main dog fabric, the outline for your dog or cat body, then is going to be the lettering. And then it's going to go on and continue the patch for the eye, or if the cat design has some stripes, whatever is in your design next is going to continue to finish your dog or your cat. But we have Charlie stitching in that order, and we wanted that. I just want to show you with my stitch simulator real quick. Let's see if I can increase the speed a little bit and walk you through it, just to show you that the machine is going to stitch the name in the right spot. So you're doing your placement on your stabilizer, and now you've laid your fabric down and it's stitching down your fabric. And then we're going to do sort of an outline here of your cat or your dog body that just shows you where everything's going to be, and then it's going to go and stitch your lettering. And once that's done, it's going to move on, as I already explained, to the rest of the design. So that is how you would add your name to the body of the cat or the dog, or a monogram. And the same, if you want to do an applique, it's the same principle. You would, let me get rid of Charlie so I can show you where I would just put like a design or an applique. So I'm going to delete Charlie for a moment. Sorry, Charlie. Okay, so let's say you want to customize the tummy of your dog with an applique or another embroidery design. All you have to do is go to File, Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to go here and get one of our new dog word art, dog lovers word art. Crazy dog lady, I guess that's me, although my husband wouldn't agree with you. But you could just bring it down and place it where you want. Or bring it over here so I can show you again the align feature. Here's another design. We've got object 1 was your main dog file, and object 2 is this other design. It could be word art, applique, whatever you want. So hold your control key and make sure everything's selected. Go up to align and distribute, center it vertically. Okay, you can close that out, and then just you can just decide. I mean, I eyeball it here. I think it probably looks good where it is. This is the 4x4 size of the word art. I think I'm going to bring it down just a drop. So you could actually stitch this out on the tummy. But you still have to place it after that outline of the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it to the first. So I'm going to bring this up here, looking over here on the right, and I just want to place it directly under 2.3. So I'm going to select that icon for the design, drag it down. You see that green writing, and just drop it in there. So it will stitch out your placement, your tack down, the outline, and then it's going to go on, and you would use the color chart for whatever design you chose, and then you would continue on with your dog or your cat. We actually have two brand new sets of we have 2 sets of dog lovers word art and 2 sets of cat lovers word art for you to choose from. And so that is exactly where you place that. If you're not using software, that's fine. And if you know how to use the editing feature of your embroidery machine, just remember, whatever you're going to insert or stitch, do it after it stitches the body outline. And also, for those of you using Express, let me get a new design. All you have to do in your Express version is go to your lettering, and then you're going to type in, let's see, Lucy, set that, and choose a different, let's see if it's Gloria. That's big. I don't know if I want to use that. But you would choose whatever font you want to use. I'm trying to pick one. I think sometimes, you know, they say like the biggest trouble is either choosing your fabric or choosing your fonts, right? So I'm just going to use Pajama Jam, for instance. And then I don't like the placement. You can, using the little green boxes, you can mess around with, if you want to move the lettering, you can have some going up, you can have some going down. But once you save your name, I don't like that at all. So let's change the font. Let's see. Drake. You go down here with the spacing. You can make them a little bit closer together. Slide it to the left. You can space them out. I like them closer together. And then when you have your name, you would just save it as a stitch file. And then you can bring that name into the editing feature of your embroidery machine. So I just wanted to throw that out there for those of you that just use the express version. The bandana, I want to show you real quick. This is going to involve one extra step if you're using your editing software. In the bandana, there's a placement line that goes on the stabilizer for your fabric, and then you, the next line you would put normally if you're not customizing the bandana, you would put your two fabrics right sides together and it would stitch them down and then stitch the bandana. What I'm going to recommend here is that you do the placement line, lay your fabric, stitch this, use the second step is going to stitch down your fabric. And we want to duplicate this step. So with it highlighted, you can go to copy and paste. Okay, and then you've just done an extra step here. We're going to drag this up. Sorry. I want just the, I'm going to drag that up to right underneath 1.2. So you have 3 rectangles and then the bandana shape. So here we're going to add the name Charlie. Again, I'm going to type out Charlie and I'm going to set it, and then I'm going to go down and I am going to choose Coffee at Midnight, and I'm going to decrease it just a little bit in size, and I'm going to kind of move it over here so I can show you the align feature. In this case, I want to take one, let's close these up. When I added the step and I created, actually, and I moved it, I created 3 different objects. So I'm going to hold my control key and I'm going to select the first 3 objects, not the lettering. And I am going to edit and group. So now I can select everything and Charlie, go to align and distribute, center, and apply. And now I've gotten Charlie perfectly centered within the design. I can take it and use my arrow key to move it up a little bit if I prefer that placement. And now what I'm going to do is ungroup all, edit and ungroup. I'll just choose ungroup all to make sure it's all ungrouped. And I'm going to expand here, and I'm going to move Charlie to first. And where I want Charlie is, I'm going to do, this is going to be the stitch that's going to be your placement line. This is going to stitch down the front of your bandana. You're only going to place the front of your bandana right side up. This is going to stitch it down. Now I want to move Charlie right underneath that. So I'm going to take here and I'm just going to drag it down right directly under 2.2. So placement, tack down the front of the bandana, stitch your word. Now you're going to put the back face down and it's going to stitch it down. And then this is going to stitch the actual bandana shape, and then you would cut it out, turn it, etc. So that's just showing you that one extra step on duplicating that extra rectangle so that you can customize your bandana. If you want to put a design here, it's the same as I showed you previously. All right, so when you're done, you're going to go to File. You want to save a working file. Always, that's your Embrilliance working file in case you want to come back and do something else with it. and then you want to save your stitch file, in which case you can save it to whatever machine format you use, and then transfer it to your machine and get stitching. I hope that this was helpful, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us at support@designsbyjuju.com, and I hope that you have a great 4th of July weekend.